Hey, you. Yeah, you. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Dishwasher. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had many shitty jobs in my life, but by far, a dishwasher is the worst fucking job I've ever had. But a lot of people don't mind it. A lot of people feel the same way I do. Me personally, to this day, I still hate washing dishes. I don't care. I try to get as many paper cups and paper plates, some plastic cups, plastic forks, and plastic spoons, and even plastic straws. You know why? Because I fucking hate washing dishes. I don't have a dishwasher, so I have no choice but to wash dishes. And you know what? I don't give a shit if it's bad for the environment. I'm not a big recycler anyway, but at the same time, I just can't stand it. But a lot of people like to shit on dishwashers for some reason. I don't know why. In my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, they're the most important person or persons in a restaurant. I once heard that you can't serve food unless you have clean plates. That's pretty true. That's sounds pretty accurate. I mean, have you ever gotten a meal where it's just on a piece of paper or just without a plate? It's not very appetizing. I mean, sometimes you do get fries and they put on that wax paper and whatever, or a basket, whatever. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that it is very important to be a dishwasher at some point of anyone's lives. It's basically the bottom of the restaurant. It really is. I mean, I hate to say that, and I'm not trying to downplay it or nothing, but everyone should know what that feeling is like. Now, some people could do it for the rest of their lives. They don't give a shit. Some people do it a couple times and they're like, you know what, fuck this. I don't want to do this. But you have to know how important it is. It's just about having a certain job where you can do better and it kind of motivates you to do better, you know? If you want to start off working at a restaurant, if you want to eventually be a cook or even own a restaurant one day, I mean, you got to know how everything works. Everything starts in the kitchen. That's where the food comes from. But the dishwasher is such an important role. Wikipedia defines this as the dishwasher meaning. Most dishwashers work in a restaurant setting. Typically, dishwashers scrape food residue from dishes, pots, and kitchen utensils, sort and load racks of dirty dishes into a commercial dishwashing machine. Now, I just need to stop there for a second. I've worked at a couple restaurants. I didn't have this shit. And it wasn't because the technology wasn't around, It's not like I was scrubbing plates in 1922, but it's just because that's all we had is just a sink and a tap. But I digress. They organized and placed clean dishes and other small wares back in their respective storage location. Additionally, they wash by hand larger items and utensils in large sinks that are usually designated for that task. Depending on the operation, they might have additional cleaning duties. If I could just stop again for a second. Yeah, that seems to happen a lot when you work as a dishwasher. Not only do you have to wash dishes, you have to scrub the floors and scrub the sinks after. I mean, everything around that area has to be clean, and sometimes it's all in the dishwasher. Anyways, the job requirements are normally physically demanding and fast paced. Dishwasher uniforms are usually covered with personal protective equipment to keep the user dry. These normally include a waterproof, full length apron tall, waterproof rubber boots, and long, heavy-duty waterproof gloves. Ladies and gentlemen, in a couple minutes or whatever the fuck, I'm going to talk about my experiences. But let me just say this right off the bat. This sounds like I'm about to go fishing with all this gear. I've never worn anything remotely close to what I just described to wash dishes. I just go in there. I might get an apron, but again, it's a white cloth apron, and as you know, when you wear white, nothing ever stains on purpose. To this day, I've yet to buy a white t-shirt where I've worn it for the first day and some kind of stain just doesn't end up on there just because life's fucking with me. It just happens. I once went to a car wearing a white shirt, brand new Guess shirt, if people can remember that brand. I don't know if they're still around. Anyways, go into the cab and put on the seatbelt, took off the seatbelt. There was some black shit on the actual belt of the seatbelt, and it just stained my shirt. So what I'm trying to say is, this doesn't make a difference. I mean, you're going to go in there, get ready to get dirty. It's just going to happen. There's no point, looking like, I don't know, the cast of Waterworld. So I just assume that's what they wore. I never saw the movie. I'm told the director's cut was good. The point is, just go in there and do your thing. Anyways, again, during the late 1960s, a myth originated that it was more efficient to place certain types of kitchen items on different levels of the dishwasher, i.e. plates on the bottom rack. This common misconception is completely false and not based on science in terms of improving efficiency of cleaning. The dishwasher in a commercial kitchen is frequently an entry-level job that can lead to a career in food preparation. That being said, many operations rely on the capabilities of an experienced dishwasher crew in the dish pit. And it is named a dish pit for a certain reason, because it is just absolute shit. It's just horrible. It literally is like, I just picture that scene from like Army of Darkness when he falls down that well, whatever, and he's surrounded by all the water and spikes and animals and whatever and monsters or whatever the fuck. I mean, okay, am I over exaggerating a little bit? Sure, but it's just shit. I mean, you're just surrounded by sludge and God only knows when this kitchen has been cleaned last, and it sucks. It's very hectic. It's fast paced, You hear some really good dirty jokes, but still, it just, you gotta keep up with it, and, it is what it is. And they say here, they did a 2008 study by the Pew, or PEW, Hispanic Center, reported that many illegal immigrants to the United States worked as dishwashers. Interesting. Wow, that's similar to the study I did. I did a study in 2019, and I found out that the sky was blue. Ladies and gentlemen, look, everybody has got to start from somewhere. Obviously, a lot of immigrants that come to the United States, or just anywhere new to a new country, they start off with low jobs, I'm not trying to talk down to them or nothing like that, but it is what it is. It could be a dishwasher or a cleaner or, whatever. I mean, you got to start somewhere, With every job, you got to start at the bottom. Started from the bottom, and now you're here. But this isn't a conversation about Drake. I already did that. I'm just trying to tell you that if you want to work hard in life, that's awesome. But get ready in the beginning to do a lot of the shit jobs. And that's basically what this job is, in my opinion. It's a good experience to get some restaurant experience, like I said, but yeah, it sucks. I mean, you go into like a normal kitchen. Okay, yeah, they might have that machine, whatever. You put all the dishes on there, and the forks and spoons, which again is a huge pain in the ass. Because from my experience, I had this like weird, like rack thing, whatever, and you're trying to stuff all the shit in there, and like a lot of stuff just falls through the holes there, whatever. Okay, you're supposed to put certain things on the side and whatever, and then it just I'll be honest with you, even describing it right now, it makes me fucking frustrated. I can't stand washing dishes. But like I said, and I'll say it for what, third or fourth time, you got to start somewhere. Okay? I mean, I don't think anybody's ever wanted to make a career out of being a dishwasher. Like I said before, maybe some people are happy doing it. Me personally, it's not my thing. It just isn't. I can't do it anymore. I just can't. But there's people out there, they don't mind it. And there's people out there that literally have no choice. Some people don't have much of an education. Some people are just getting a dishwasher job as their first job. They just want to make some money and, I don't know, just want to buy some time maybe. Maybe they got 4 kids at home and they don't have any other choice. All I'm saying is, in the end, treat every dishwasher you come across with respect, because it is absolutely the worst job that you can have in a restaurant or bar setting. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I've done pretty much every job in this industry, and it just sucks. Like, it really sucks. Best advice I can give to any dishwasher out there is, well, for one, don't do it. If you can do something else, just do that. But that's the obvious. But just keep thinking in the back of your head. Is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? Like, is there something else I can do? I mean, can I actually make sense of this life? Like, can I just get out there and do something else? Or I know maybe sometimes you got no choice, and you got to do what's right for your family and just make money, but sometimes you just got to think for yourself. And it's very important just to get out there and say, you know what, I don't want to do this forever, and I want to make sure that I learn from all my experiences from this. And who knows, maybe I want to do something more higher up in a restaurant. Maybe I never want to work in a restaurant. Maybe I don't even want to go to restaurants. Maybe I just like to cook at home. I mean, that's how much I hate going out and spending $25 for a burger when I don't have to. It'll teach you a lot about how like people interact in like a very fast atmosphere. You'll also see like how a lot of people will treat you when you're at the bottom. Do I mind being treated like this, or do I want to be treated with more respect? I'm probably not going to get that much respect, because a lot of people will respect you. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everyone's going to shit on you for being a dishwasher, but on some level they're going to think, yeah, it's not like you own the restaurant. It's not like you're the cook. It's not like you're working a crazy business 9 to 5 hours, and I don't know, you're in the office all day and you're working out some Wall Street deals and I don't know, having sex with your secretary, and then like going to your local restaurant and thinking, my life is crazy, and at least I'm not a dishwasher. That's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Dishwashers work their asses off. So all I'm saying is it's not fair that a lot of these waiters and waitresses are getting tipped. So I think they should be getting tipped as well, or at least getting some kind of percentage. And a lot of restaurants do that, where they just divvy up like all the tips and stuff. So I think every restaurant should do that. So if you're in charge of a restaurant or running one, keep that in mind. You know, my motto is always being, if you are the boss of something, it's your job to keep everybody happy. It doesn't matter if they're high, low, doesn't matter. Just, make sure everyone's happy and everything will run that much more smoothly. And a dishwasher, just make the best out of it. Make the absolute best out of it. And just keep thinking to yourself, I want better than this. I absolutely have to have better than this. And do what you got to do on the side. Nothing illegal, of course. I'm just saying, if you need to go to school or get another job or whatever, it gets better. Trust me. But in the meantime, treat every dishwasher with the respect they deserve. Because in many ways, that's the heart of the building. And in all honesty, if you can afford it, I highly advise you buy a dishwasher. Trust me also, that is worth it. I gotta be completely honest with you guys. Just before I was recording this podcast, I was just thinking about all the funny scenes in TV and movie history that involved dishwashing. And one that came to mind was the very first episode of Home Improvement. Now, for those of you who don't know what Home Improvement is, it was a TV show in the 90s starring the awesome and overall cool dude, Tim Allen. Now, for those of you who don't know who Tim Allen is, shame on you. Because every Christmas, I get to enjoy him as Santa Claus in The Santa Claus. And it seems like every 3-4 years or so, he plays Buzz in Toy Story. But before all that, he did some stand-up. And he got in a little bit of trouble. Now, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. Like I was saying before, just before I started this podcast, as you remember, my last podcast, or my last couple, I was talking about online dating. I was just talking to a woman online, and apparently, she told me she's, delved into, a little the, what we like to call booger sugar, or as the mafia calls it, garbage, aka cocaine. Now, I just think this is funny because the first thing I was thinking of when TV dishwasher is concerned was, Tim Allen. And, Tim Allen did get into a little shit, back in the day before he got his show. He was caught selling cocaine to a undercover cop, and he had to serve some time. But then afterwards, it all worked out. Did some stand-up, and he did a show. So, yeah. Anyways, I just thought I'd share that. Anyways, talking about dishwashers, right? So, in the first episode, he's basically this dude who's like Bob Vila. If you don't know who Bob Vila is, Bob Vila was this dude in the 80s, 90s who, always had all these tips for fixing shit. And I guess Tim Allen's character was like the Three Stooges version of Bob Vila. So, he would always try to fix shit and it'd always go wrong. And so then he's trying to fix this dishwasher or whatever. And, he's just, working away there, doing the whole wires, and and all that shit. And of course he shocks himself, and then at one point he just puts in a fucking car engine whatever in the dishwasher, and of course he turns it on and the thing takes off into space. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember watching this with my dad. We laughed our asses off. Now you gotta keep in mind, in the '90s, there were a lot of comedies like this, where the simplest shit, would happen in a show and just make us laugh. Not saying it's not funny today. I just watched it again on YouTube just to, refresh my memory. I still find it fucking funny. I don't give a shit what anybody says. So, and had to get that in there. And yeah, so get a dishwasher. Don't put a car engine in it. It's not worth it. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know why I just said that. I got lots of more things to say. So anyways, every time I think of a classic dishwasher scene, I think of course, I hope one day I can actually find out he is related somehow to me, the one and only Al Pacino in Scarface. Now, like we were just talking about before, a lot of immigrants do come here, and unfortunately, they get a lot of shit jobs. And like I said, one of them is being a dishwasher. So that's what happens. He, does the favor there for, and comes here to good old Miami, Florida, and yeah, he's got to do the whole shit dishwashing thing, And again, he's got no machine, He's just got the sink, the tap, hopefully some hot water there, and that's it, I didn't come to the States to break my fucking back. Coño. Hey, take it easy. He's coming. Hey, siesta sandwich, man. Coño. Look at this. Fucking onions. Now, for those of you that need a little translation, what I just said the last 10 seconds there, basically, when you're working in a kitchen, it is a huge pain in the ass. And also, it gets to be very hot. Now, when you're a dishwasher, you're feeling that at least a couple times over. Not to take anything away from cooks, they feel the heat too. But at the same time, your hands get so fucking dried out. Okay? And me personally, I don't like wearing those fucking rubber gloves when I'm washing. I like to get in there and feel it. You know what I mean? Like, how do you know if it's really dirty? You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, your hands are going to suffer. You're basically going to look like an albino after. And yeah. Always love this scene because it's a perfect example of a person starting from the bottom and, slowly, with his connections and his friends, and, he slowly, goes up the ladder and becomes the ultimate coke king that he wants to be. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying that every dishwasher out there is going to become a coke king, nor should that be your life goal. But I'm just saying, he wants to get out of the kitchen. I'm just saying, if you can do something legal, that's way better. That's all, And is there some kind of weird connection that I just talked about Tim Allen's problem, and I'm talking about Scarface, and for some reason the whole dishwasher scene seems to be surrounded with coke? I don't know. I'm just pointing out certain things that everybody should know about the occupation that is a dishwasher and all the shit that we gotta put up with. You gotta be kidding. 500? What do you think we are, baggage handlers? Oh, I love this movie. But anyways, probably my favorite scene that involves a dishwasher is this little movie that came out in the early 90s called Dragon, a Bruce Lee story. Now, for those of you who don't know who Bruce Lee is, I mean, wow. But anyways, yeah, this is basically, a little documentary / movie, whatever, and it, shows you all the shit that he went through, a mini tale about his life. And there's a great scene in it where again, he comes over and he's got to do something. What does he do? He's a dishwasher. So, of course, nothing else to do. You have sex with one of the waitresses, which I'm assuming Bruce Lee could, do in a heartbeat anyway. And of course, the one dude in there gets jealous and he throws a big ass pan in the sink that Bruce Lee is stationed at. And of course, it splashes all over the place. And I gotta say, I've worked a couple kitchens in my life as a dishwasher, and that is one of the most disrespectful things you can do. Now, a lot of people are guilty of doing this. Waiters, waitresses, people in the kitchen. I don't know if you guys are aware that, there's an actual human being working there. And if you throw a hot ass pan, first of all, when you throw a hot ass pan in water, it's still gonna be fucking hot. I mean, you gotta let that shit chill for a bit. If anything, you should let the pan just sit on the side for a bit and, just let it cool. I get it. It's a busy, restaurant atmosphere. I get that, and maybe it's a cheap restaurant too. And, you only have like maybe a couple pans to spare. But I mean, Jesus Christ, like you gotta have a little bit more compassion, Now, of course, in this scene, he does that on purpose just to fuck with them. But there's a lot of people in a restaurant atmosphere that will just throw shit in the sink where the dishwasher is. And I'm going to tell you something right now. That is completely disrespectful. Anybody that's being a dishwasher knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. So if you're not a dishwasher and you're working at a restaurant, and if you got a plate for the dishwasher, put it on the side. All right? Or else there's a good chance that plate is going to go in your fucking head. Okay? Be respectful. Again, we're human beings. Treat us with respect. Thank you. Now back to the kick-ass movie. So, of course, Bruce Lee gets pissed, and Bruce Lee does, what he does best is, beat the shit out of people. But first he just gives him a kick, and he pushes him right into the stove. And of course, this guy's a cook. He's probably got grease on him. His shit catches on fire or whatever. And he's like, okay, let's go fight outside. Now, I could absolutely describe this scene kick by kick, but it is better if you see this scene for itself. What this has to do with being a dishwasher, absolutely nothing. But this scene kicks ass, and I advise anybody out there, go on YouTube, put in Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, kitchen fight scene, and just sit back and enjoy. Personally, I don't even give a shit if this is real or if this actually happened to him. Whatever, man. It just kicks ass. So it's an awesome fight scene. I gotta give props to Jason Scott Lee, who played Bruce Lee, and all the other people that were involved in that fight scene, because it was pretty cool. I mean, if this shit happened today, someone's gonna walk by, record it on their phone, and I guarantee you they're gonna have like 1 billion hits on YouTube. So, but anyways, after the big fight, Bruce Lee goes in there and receives probably some of the best advice he ever got in his life. The woman who runs the restaurant, or the manager, I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't matter, basically just, gives him this whole speech. She basically says that, you know what, I'm going to give you some money. Bruce Lee's like, what's this for? Okay, you have fun with your girlfriend, whatever, the waitress, whatever the fuck you want to call her. And, you go out, you get some nice food, go to a nice hotel, and then it's all gone. Your money's gone. She'll be gone too. And you'll be back here. Just a simple dishwasher. But the way she says it is just excellent. I advise anyone out there to watch this as well. but the way she says the word dishwasher is just, it really just sticks in your head. You're nothing but a dishwasher. Like she really just rubs it in, like, and is just basically telling him, like, look, like you don't belong here. Like she saw something in him, and you know, she doesn't want him to become another dishwasher. I fucking love that. And it's true. It's like I was saying before. I mean, you know, you gotta want more than that. You know, if anything, a dishwasher is really one of the best jobs in the world, if you think about it, because it really inspires you to do better. I mean, a lot of jobs do that, but like, you know, you're in a hot kitchen, and it just, you know, and you're, you know, beating the shit out of people in an alley, and then you come back in, you're like, oh shit, I still gotta, you know, I still gotta be a dishwasher, you know. But he was lucky. He got, you know, someone to, you know, give him some money, you know, for a little loan there, and yeah, you know, he went to school, and you know, the rest is history. So, I'm not saying you got to go back to school, but yeah, I mean, work towards something better. Who knows? You might just surprise yourself. But worst case, I always know a woman that could use a good dishwasher. Man, if that shit doesn't stick in your head, nothing will. But anyways, like I said before, I could think of 4 jobs where I was a dishwasher. And yeah, I didn't like any of them. I absolutely did not like any of them. The very first one I ever worked at was a little place I like to call, well, maybe I shouldn't say it because I don't know. I don't want to get sued. But anyways, yeah, because millions of people listen to this shit. But anyways, it was a well-known, you know, chicken establishment. Let's just put it like that. Yeah, it was shit, man. Like I'm not gonna lie. You know, I was lucky. I mean, at least I didn't work with just a sink and a tap. You know, I had the big machine there. You know, you got the racks, and one thing you learn is, yeah, it is absolutely fast paced. I mean, the dishes do not stop coming. I mean, it's just one after another, and you know, like you keep thinking like, okay, time is gonna go by fast, and it really doesn't. You know, it seems to go slower for some reason. Like a lot of people always say, like when you're busy at work, time goes by fast. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I mean, I'm just always tortured to be at any work. But I mean, when you're working in a kitchen, and you know, sometimes it's like a fucking steam room, because you know, you have that one machine there. You put the racks in, you know, with all the dishes and all that shit, and then you put it down, and then afterwards you lift it up. All this steam just punches you right in the face. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where that phrase came from. Wash, rinse, repeat. It came from being a dishwasher. And it just never stopped. I mean, I did get a discount when I was there, like 50% off, although certain things I can get 50% off. Also, when you're working in a kitchen, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I literally would see somebody drop food on the floor when it's about to be served, and it placed back on the plate, and it was still served. So, yeah, you know, fast pace, I guess. You know, it saves a couple minutes. All right, whatever. You know, did I go in the fridge and help myself to certain things? Listen, you know, when you're younger, you don't know certain things. You're just still learning. You know, you're learning that not every food item has to be prepared. You know, some of it could just be in a bag, and you could just squeeze it right out, and present it as actual food. I mean, you do learn a lot of things being in the kitchen, but the number one thing I learned from being in the kitchen is that being a dishwasher fucking sucks. And at the time I smoked weed. And yeah, I remember I went in there high as fuck one day. And I think on the irony was the time actually did start to go by faster. Or maybe it was that I just didn't give a shit. Again, it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it was just very repetitive, and I mean, like, again, when you're in that atmosphere, I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Again, when you're in the kitchen atmosphere, you're definitely gonna get into fights with people. You're either gonna love them or hate them. They're gonna like you or not like you. And of course, this, I was just in the kitchen, doing my, steam sauna there. And I don't know, some guy was talking shit about my culture, and I got a little pissed off. I saw a butter knife. I didn't use it, but I told him, I said, hey, take that back. And he didn't. He kept laughing. Good thing the chef was there. He broke it up, but at the same time, I just kept thinking to myself, this is a shit job. It means nothing. But at the same time, it taught me that, yeah, I don't want to do this shit for the rest of my life. The irony is that weeks later, I was at my cottage and I was in front of a fire, high again. And, there's nothing, but a great fire when you're high. I don't know what it is, maybe the colors. Anyways, so then I get a phone call at like 9, 10, and the restaurant called me and said, like, where are you? I'm like, I'm here. Where are you? And then they were like, well, you're supposed to be working. I'm like, working? Who is this? I'm like, this is the, right, the shitty job. Yeah, so I completely forgot I was supposed to be there. Maybe I was younger and I didn't, appreciate, the fine arts of, dishwashing. I know it sounds like kind of arrogant of me right now to say that, but at the same time, yeah, I just did not give a shit about this job. And, a lot of times that you want to do better for yourself right away. Sometimes it takes a while. And, I guess I was like, fuck it. I want to, enjoy this fire instead. So I ended up getting fired from that. Yeah, again, it's not like I lost my job on Wall Street. So, again, I know. I'm not trying to take anything away from it. I'm just saying it was a shitty job. I don't care. So then the next time I worked as a dishwasher, because, again, I'm a glutton for punishment, was another, more of a restaurant scene, very chill kind of restaurant. My boss, I remember at the time, he looked exactly like Diego in the movie Blow with Johnny Depp. Like same face, same eyes. Like he's got those like light blue colored eyes, whatever, the hair, just like exactly, I thought there'd be times where it'd be just like he would just talk to me and just go, George, what you know about cocaine? And but the dude would make a great roast beef focaccia. So but again, yeah, it sucked because I just had a sink and a tap, and it was a very small working space. For those of you who know me, I don't look or act the best in small places. It's like putting the elephant in a bachelor apartment. So yeah, again, I just did what I could and, whatever. And the irony is that maybe this is karma kicking in, but I actually blew off to go to the cottage, and instead I ended up, I thought I was supposed to work, that weekend. So then I show up for the shift, as usual, and then I go there, and, he's just there, and he told me, look, man, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to let you go. And I go, why? And it's nothing I did. He just said, look, like I got one of my relatives coming in and, he needs a job and, sorry, man, it is what it is, but he offered me a free meal. Uh, like I said, he made a great, sandwich. I took it, and yeah, that's it. So no hard feelings there. But again, it sucked. Like working that little small space and whatever, and I just did it for a couple extra bucks, whatever. And it's just, I don't know, it just was not my style. You know, I worked with good people. Don't get me wrong. His wife was really beautiful at the time. I mean, I'm sure she still is now. I'm just saying, that's all. But again, this, one of his family, he seemed to be Brazilian or something, whatever. And then again, one of his relatives came, from wherever, and they needed a quick job, and bada bing, bada boom, here we are again. So then the next time I was a dishwasher was at this club. Now, before the club even opened, I do a lot of like prep work, help with the bar back, stuff like that, help with the bottles and all that. For the most part, it was actually a pretty good job. I mean, I worked on weekends. I did that for like 9 months. And, it wasn't bad. I was definitely like drunk half the time. I mean, people just buy you shots or you're just fed alcohol behind the bar, and it wasn't as fast paced as I thought, because I had people like help me out, and I'm like, cool, whatever. But then when the last half hour of the night, when all those buckets come sliding in one after another after another after another, and we're just like packed with shit, like shot glasses and just normal glasses and bottles, and who the fuck knows, and I can't even tell you how many times I cut my hands, and people are like, oh, do you want to wear gloves? And I'm like, no, stupid. And but at the same time, I did find jewelry and money all over the place. And I remember one time I got a tray of dirty shot glasses, and there was a rolled up piece of paper, and I unroll it, it's a $10 bill. Why was it rolled? You know why it was rolled. Come on, It seems like every story I'm telling relates to Coke again. But anyways, yeah. So that wasn't a bad job. Although I started off making a good amount of money, and then 9 months later, it was literally half the amount at tip out time. But yeah, again, it was a huge pain in the ass. Instead, I had this like actual dishwashing machine. It was like a car wash. It starts at one end, and it's got the flappers and all that shit and whatever. And I mean, the shit would break down all the time. I mean, me personally, I didn't give a shit because it wasn't mine. But the boss I had, I don't know, he seemed pretty chill too. I mean, like even when the thing broke, like he knew people that could fix it at the time, and I don't know, it wasn't my fault. I mean, I don't know, what the fuck do I know? I mean, I burned toast, and you can't fix a tire, and I don't know how to use a Band-Aid. And I remember one day I was just like really just drunk off my ass, and the thing started leaking water. I just treated it like a slip and slide. I was just sliding all over the place behind the bar. I'm just having a good time, whatever, and then I tell the guy, hey, the water's leaking, and and I see people, fucking against the walls. I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit, whatever. So the point is, you just got to make the best out of a good situation, or the best out of a bad situation. There you go. That sounds better. And yeah, I mean, just make the best out of it. I mean, you're in a club anyway. You're in there free. If I was a Gino, I'd be in heaven. I remember talking about the fight scene in the Bruce Lee movie here. I mean, there was one scene where after work there, like the alleyway was back there, and there was just like one guy getting the shit beaten out of him by like 10 other guys. And again, it was like a scene out of a movie, and it's like I can't even describe what happened. I mean, I just did, but at the same time, it was just insane. Like everybody had to look back. The bouncers couldn't do anything. I mean, it's some of these bouncers. I mean, they look like juggernauts, man. I mean, I think we had like 5 dudes there that were 7 feet, and they would just yell my name behind the bar, Michael. Like first of all, I don't know this person, and I was ready to just throw him my wallet, and he's like, water. I was like, oh, thanks, bro. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah. Thanks for not killing me. And yeah, so like I said, just make the best out of a bad situation, and things will be all right. But the last time I ever worked as a dishwasher was definitely gonna be the last time. So it was this restaurant, bar, restaurant, whatever, you know. It was like I don't know, like a Greek version of Denny's, I guess. And I don't know, like my friend's mother set me up with it, and I'm not gonna lie to you, this guy was just a complete asshole. I mean, this guy was just completely out of it at the time. I just needed some extra work, and it was funny too, because like even like during the interview, like I even told him, like I said, I don't like, you know, the paint you have outside for the building. I don't like it. It's pretty dull. It doesn't stand out. And it was just one bad comment after bad comment. And I somehow still got the job, which really blew my mind. So, I mean, again, it really, like, I mean, a lot of places I think are just rotating doors for dishwashers, you know, because they just don't want to fucking do it, you know. So you know, I did that, and I only worked there for one day. And I tell you, for this restaurant, and I didn't mention this before, but for a lot of restaurants, especially the restaurants that just don't give a shit and have good, very good management, if you're a dishwasher, you're basically the bitch of the restaurant, you know. And there were times where like it wasn't as busy like in the early afternoon. It got busier later on, obviously. You know, the chefs are cool, you know, all good doing their thing. I think there's like 2 or 3 in there, just, you know, it was all good there. We had about, I think like 5, 6 waiters, waitresses, and they did absolutely nothing. And again, I'm not talking down on waiters, waitresses. You guys put up with a lot of shit, but a lot of you guys, you don't give a shit. And there was a point where, being a dishwasher, people would cart shit in for me, you know, all the dirty shit, whatever. And I take it from the container there, wash it, da da da. And they're supposed to bring it from the dining room to the kitchen. And a lot of times they wouldn't do that. And one time I do it myself. I peek out there. All 5 of them during service, they're all just in a circle talking to each other. They're not helping me, they're not helping others, they're not even cleaning or whatever, you know. They're just literally doing absolutely nothing. So I mean, the guy who hired me also was the owner. He didn't give a shit. I mean, I tried to talk to him even during the shift. He would just walk right past me. He would close the door right after. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He was just in his own little world. At one point, I was washing some stuff, and you know, like I said before, somebody just threw this big ass pan in the water, splashed all over the place. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. And then at one point, like, my head was like really itchy. Like, I felt something, and I literally scratched my head, and this big black, I don't know what the fuck it was, like a beetle or like this big ass bug just fell out of my hair, and I was like, holy shit, like, what fucking place am I working at? Like, this is insane. You know, it's like fucking Lord of the Flies with flies. And at one point, like, oh, again, let me tell you something about working in kitchens. You always got to be careful, because my dad even told me this one story where he knew someone who worked in a kitchen, slipped, hit his head on the stove, and I believe he died. And you know, lucky for me, like, that obviously didn't happen to me because I'm here. But like I said, I'm a bigger guy. You know, I've been known to have an extra sandwich or two, and I did this kind of twisting move, whatever, and I literally spread both legs and did the splits. I think for the first time in my life, which is, I still feel physically impossible. And the crazy thing was, like, I was so shocked by it when I did the splits. I was split on the ground, and I was frozen. And it was almost like when you're chopping down a tree and that last chop, you know, it's like, timber! And I was like, I don't know which way I'm gonna fall. And I was frozen for a couple seconds, and I eventually just tipped over. Nobody was in the kitchen at the time, no chefs, no waiters, you know, no owners. And that was one of those funniest moments where, you know, no one was around to see it. But, you know, you got to be careful. It can get extremely slippery, especially if you're a dishwasher. Obviously, you're around water. And yeah, it was kind of awesome. But anyways, after that shift, um, I was on the bus, and I was just like, man, this job sucks, man. And then I was like, fuck. On top of that, like this bus smells, and I gotta put up with this smell, the whole time. I'm on my way home, and then I realized at one point, I'm like, that's me. Like I fucking reeked. I smelled like, that fresh, stinky garbage smell, where it's like, like there's garbage water in there, and there's fucking lettuce from a week ago, and rotten tomatoes, and like half a burger nobody ate, and oh man, it was fucking horrible. And I said to myself, like, I can't do this shit anymore. And then, shortly after that, I went to a new profession, and yeah, that's my history with being a dishwasher. And to this day, like I said, I still hate doing dishes. But who really likes doing dishes? I mean, how many cooks actually do their own dishes? Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them do. But can you imagine a cook every single day cooking so many meals, and then at the end saying, hey, you gotta wash all this shit? But you know what? They don't have to, because they've earned it. And that's the whole point. Being a dishwasher is just that first step of earning your goal and working towards it. And I'm sick of working dead end jobs with lame pay. And I'm tired of being hired and fired the same day. That's a lyric from Eminem's song Rock Bottom. Eminem worked as a cook and dishwasher at Gilbert's Lounge in Detroit, Michigan. He got fired from Gilbert's Lodge 5 days before his daughter's birthday, which falls on Christmas, and with only $40, wrote Rock Bottom the same night. He went on to sell 172 million albums worldwide. Now, if that doesn't inspire you, nothing will. I know at times it'll seem like there's nothing else you could do to get yourself out of this funk of being a dishwasher. But it just gets better and better. You'll make new friends. You'll learn how a fast-paced environment works. And you'll learn that this isn't the last stop in life. You can honestly do whatever you want after this. But it's important that you know what it's like to work right at the bottom. And from there, just rise. And you can do so many things after that. With a lot of hard work, you can pretty much do anything. Or, I have to say it one more time. Just let me say it one more time in this voice, because trust me, you're going to start talking like this after. Or you could just go back and always be a dishwasher.